Hey, how's it going? So I'll show you two ways how you can separate logic from the logic from the component display, like user interface, right? So we have a very simple. And here we have, you see, a button that increases the count. All right. So this button, this is logic for the button. Now, you want to put it into here. I'm gonna remove all of this mumbo jumbo. So first way to do it is to create a helper function. So we want to basically take this, put it here, probably change this to const, increase count, like this, then we want count, and then set count, like this. So now we do set count, whoops, and then count plus 1. And then we export like this. So now we want to import this from hooks. Okay, so now we want to get, so okay, so this is our state, so this will stay. Now in here we want to put the like this. That's what we want to do. Increase count. And then set count. So we pass it like this, you see. So what it doesn't like. Oh, whoops. I made double arrows like this. So it's not liking something. Export count. Oh yeah, it's complaining about types. Yeah, probably should have done it in JavaScript, but okay. Okay, we're gonna have to define types. Just put this as any. I mean, any is like the fastest way to do it, and then I think that should do it then. Yeah. Now you can ignore my TypeScript. Like anywhere I put any, you're doing in the JavaScript, just ignore it. Right, so now you see now it's working. So this is like, you have logic in one file, and you have display in the second. I don't know why companies do it sometimes, but like, I see it a lot. Companies want to separate display from the logic, and sometimes you want to have types separately as well. You also want to have barrel imports sometimes, but like, it makes it cleaner, I suppose, much easier to read, right? Because you know, okay. Okay, so this is via a function, right? So now let's say we want to create a, I don't know, let's do something like const was it well, let's do is console. So we're gonna console log a message and then change the state from being false to true, and then that's it. Set is console. No, I'll just do any. I'll try to. It's probably gonna complain, but okay. I'll try to do it without the TypeScript stuff. Okay, and then we're gonna have a message. So const message equals. We're not gonna do it through this way. We're just gonna do it. So let's create a hook called use console log, and we're gonna pass is consoled, and then set is consoled, and then we want the message to be here, which is gonna be like it was hello world. Let's do hello world. Okay. So now this hook is going to run. Well, I'll show you. First, we're gonna run it on every re-render, right? And then I'll show you how to create a hook that only runs when with the dependency. Okay, so let's just create this hook. Export const like this. What are our dependencies? So let's split to the right. So we want dependencies to be, well, arguments, my apologies. So we want this thing to be is consoled. Like this, and then we want message, so this will be a string. I'll just put everything as any so it doesn't complain. Any. Oopsie. Okay, so now we're gonna do maybe conditionally. Yeah. So if is consoled is false, then we want console log it's false, and then else we want to console log the message, so which is gonna come from here. Message and then message like this. So now we need to import this thing from here, and then voila, it's going to work. Let me see. Oh shite, we forgot to change the... Oh yeah. So we need to change the set is console to reverse what is consoled is like this. Well, actually, it will be more reliable if we put it as false, as true. Like so. So what is it? Doesn't like... Okay. So it says this is an infinite loop. How is that an infinite loop? Hold on. So if console log is false, we are console logging this. And there's if console log oh no, we set it to true. Oh, we have no exit. That's fine. Yeah, that's an infinite loop. Whoopsie. Oh shit, we need to change it then. Yeah, we need to set this. Yeah, we need to send this to true. Whoops, my apologies. Yeah. So that should work now, I think, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, bottom line, like you can see that it's being, it's running on every re-render. Do you see? Now the reason why it's twice is because we're using strict mode. In the, if you want to get rid of it, you have to go into, what you call it, into index, I think, somewhere here. I'm not gonna change it, but I'm just saying that if you get rid of strict mode, then you're not gonna have this problem where it's running twice. But you see the idea, right? The hook is pretty much like the canvas. Like, think about this hook as being a portion of your component where you can write your logic. The only difference is that this logic is in a separate file. Like, so think about this space here as exactly the same space as this. The only difference is you have to pass arguments. Other than that, it's going to be pretty much exactly as if you're typing in here, right? Now, to create a hook, just start with use and capitalize the first word. Okay. Now the second thing is we want to run it only when count changes, right? So we can put count in here. It's probably gonna, okay, let's create a second button. Const, let's do count2, set count2, react use state any. I'll do it without this thing, so it's gonna be 0. Okay, so let's do HR in here. Yeah, HR like this, and we'll do H2 count2. I think it should be like this, right? Yeah. So here I will write logic. Should I write logic in here? I'll just do it like this. I'll just do it like this. Count2, set count2, I think, right? Yeah. Count2, like this. I just basically cloning there, so we have two buttons basically. What is it complaining about? Count. No, everything is fine. So this count2, so count2, okay. Oh, it's complaining about this. Yeah. Let's do it in here. Okay, so now we have two buttons. They pretty much do exactly the same thing, but they're two separate states, you see. Oh, whoopsie. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now we want to run this hook, like we want to run this logic only when, let's say, count2 changes. Right, so what we do is we pass count2 into here. So we do usual count2 any. Now, here what you do is you wrap it inside return and then react, use effect, or use memo, whichever way you want, right? Now, sometimes you want use effect, so it loads after. But I'm just saying that, you know, you just need to do it, like, as long as you're putting return and then whichever react hook you want, it will be as if you're writing it in here. So, like, again, imagine you are just writing it in here. How would you do it? The logic is exactly the same in here. The only difference is you're putting return and then whatever your logic is. And then you put your dependency, which is gonna be this one here. Count2. Okay. Alright. So now when we're clicking, let's just reload this. Okay, so when we're increasing, the hook is not running because dependency is not changing. When we're clicking, the hook is running because dependency changes. Does that make sense? So if you're trying to load some kind of data, you're listening for some kind of information to come in, like an observable, that's the way to do it. Now this can be memo, this can be callback, this can be use layout effect, right? But generally speaking, just think about how do I separate logic from the UI. I just want to do it with a simple hook, right? Most of the time, when you're writing logic in here, it's gonna be one of two things. It's gonna be either a helper function, or it's gonna be a hook, like use effect, use memo, whatever. So the way to do that is most of the time probably gonna be a hook, right? Well, could be a function. But the way to do that is honestly, you can create a function out of a hook as well. To be honest with you. Probably. Anyway, I'm not gonna cover it in here. So, the bottom line, what I'm trying to say is, if you're trying to write it in here with use effect, you're probably better off doing it this way. So write it exactly, so you can just basically write this portion in here, like this. Like N is going to work. It's complaining that it's missing a dependency, like this. Yeah, so now you see it wants the message to be const message equals, what was the message? Hello world, right? So now we have the message, okay. So now you see you wrote your hook, it's working, everything is fine. So it's not running, now it's running. So okay, so now you want to say, okay, how do I separate this into its own separate logic? And the way you do that is just to create a hook, create arguments that you want to pass, so count the arguments. So you want is consoled, set is consoled is another one, message is another one. So there's gonna be and dependencies, right? We also want the dependency. So it's gonna be 4 arguments, right? Create the hook, right? So that's gonna be your hook. Write the return statement, and then literally copy and paste this part into here. And then that's it. And then import the hook, and then pass the arguments, which from here into here, and then that's it. It's gonna be as if this was sitting in here. See what I'm saying? Like, it makes no difference. The only difference is you're separating the logic, and that's it. I think that's about it. That's all I wanted to cover. Okay, take care.